Hello, welcome to the Street University. Welcome to our learning session for today, the 13th of April in the year 2021. I want to welcome you to what I believe is going to be another one of our epic learning sessions where we're going to unlearn in order to relearn. And it's been really, really wonderful, the learning we've been having on this series, The Pandemic Streams, where we're looking at people who have stepped out to create certain things during the pandemic that have turned out to become income streams for them. And why do we have this session? To encourage, to inspire, to instruct, so that somebody can watch this and realize, hey, you know what? I can do something too. And it's very interesting because all these people that we have been featuring, they did not have to leave their homes to be able to develop an income stream. And I've been thinking about it. It is so powerful today, the power of the internet. I think we're very privileged to be living in this era, where people are literally sitting at home and creating new streams of income. And that's what we've tried to do since we started the pandemic streams. So I would like you to kindly just share this, call people, tag people, let them come and learn. Let them come and learn. I was reading a book the other time, the Jewish phenomenon. This is actually on my table, on my desk here, the Jewish phenomenon. And very interesting thought that, even if you borrow to get education or to learn and you're not able to pay back, nobody can reclaim or repossess what you bought. I think that's profound. That's the power of knowledge. And at the Street University, we just try to make sure we make it as real as possible, as practical as possible, something that everybody can leave this place and go and implement. Favored Flora, you are welcome. Pauline, you are welcome. Dorcas, you are very, very welcome. All right, guys, who else is online today? Come on, let me know who is there, and do share and invite somebody to be part of this learning process, because wonderful things are going to be revealed today. Many times we pray and we pray, oh God, bless me. And a lot of people don't realize that sometimes the answer to their prayer is an instruction. It's an instruction. Somebody will say, I can't walk, and Jesus says, get up or stretch up your, I have a withered hand, stretch out your hand. It's an instruction. And I'm telling you, some of the instruction we are receiving on this platform, at the Street University, do you know this is the answer to some prayers? This is the answer to some prayers. And that's why you need to get people on board. Maybe you're the one that God is using to bring their answer. Hello, Pauline. You're very welcome. Taiwo, you're welcome. Stella, welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. So we started this conversation with Fumi last week and she took us through Instagram. But there is another platform that I heard it for the first time from Fumi. I'd never heard of it before. Neddy, you're very welcome. Hi. So this other platform, I've never heard of it before. But when my daughter gets into something, She gets into it with everything. And before I knew what was happening, breakthroughs were happening for her on this other platform. So I had to ask her, I said, what is this? So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome my daughter, Fumi. Fumi, you're very welcome. Hello, dear. How are you?
I'm good.
All right. So you are here by popular demand. I think people loved you. You know, I think this is interesting. When you appeared on your brother's video, everybody loved you and they said they wanted you back. And it was not your own video, it's not your own YouTube channel, it's your brother's. You know, everybody said they wanted you back. Now you come on Street University, everybody says they wanted you back. Eh?
Yes.
How do you explain that?
It's just something about me.
Fumi. All right. So please, you know, I heard it from you for the very first time. And ladies and gentlemen, let me say something. We need to be very careful so we don't resist what we don't understand. Because a lot of things that are coming out, we won't understand. I mean, I never understood Twitter. And I used to say, how can you have something where you just write a few words? But do you know, Twitter has been such a phenomenal platform for me. My Twitter account is growing at the rate of about 100 every week. You know, I have grown from 15,000 followers to nearly 20,000 followers in just a few weeks. You know, and so don't resist what you don't understand. For me, please explain to us in simple layman terms, because I am sure, okay, Stella knows Clubhouse. How many, okay, if you are here and you've not heard about Clubhouse, you don't know how Clubhouse operates, please let me know. Just let me know if you don't know about Clubhouse or how it operates. Because I was totally ignorant as to what Clubhouse was. When I heard you talking about it, I was like, what is she talking about? So in simple, very, very simple terms, for me, what is Clubhouse?
Okay, so Clubhouse is one of the newest social media platforms, but what makes it different is that it's all voice. So it's kind of like you're on a large phone call with people from all over the world in lifetime. So you get to have conversations about different themes with people, but all you're doing is hearing each other's voices. So you can put up your hand, kind of like a Zoom call, but you don't have to worry about how you look because it's all audio. So that's what Clubhouse
So
is.
it's a place where we all come and we just talk. How is it different from a conference call?
It's very topic specific. So if, for example, everyone's profile, first of all, is completely different. Because I'm into makeup, beauty, I follow people in those industries. And it's so cool because then you're able to have conversations with these people and talk, hear their voices, ask questions in lifetime. So it's different from just um, first of all, a Zoom call, for example, because the main thing is you don't have to worry about how you look. You can be in bed, people wake up for meditation, clubhouse rooms, you're in bed. It doesn't matter. So it's very convenient. You can have music in the background. They've made the platform very user friendly, so it doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're going about your day, you can just be listening and then chip in when you need to talk or when you want to put up your hand.
I mean, I saw that even people like Elon Musk was speaking at Clubhouse, and everybody was, and the things he was saying was now big news globally.
Yeah. So, and that's the cool thing. Another cool thing is that you can be with people who, for example, I don't know if people here have heard of Grant Cardone, but I had not heard of him before. But I was then in a
Of who?
clubhouse where he was Grant Cardone.
Okay.
Yeah. So he is one of these big shot businessmen. He does many things, and he has a net worth of about $400 million. I had no idea who he was, but through Clubhouse, I did a coaching session with him, and a few other people who got that opportunity. So it's just one of those platforms that if you are focused and if you pay attention, if you enter the right rooms, you'll meet people that you would have struggled to reach out to or get access to. And now they are talking to you. You can hear their voice. You can ask questions and
Okay,
get
let me
answers.
ask, how did you get to hear about that platform? Or is it a generational thing? How did you get to know about it?
No, I got to hear about it. I think it was on Twitter. There was a time that there were some funny memes, or let me say, I don't know if you guys know exactly what memes are, but there were some posts, funny posts going around about
What do
Clubhouse
you mean? Of course,
and
we
how,
know what memes are.
okay, and how people on Clubhouse talk a lot, blah, blah, blah. Just funny things were going around about Clubhouse. So I was curious, so I got the app. But then I realized it's not like any other ordinary app because when you join, you have to wait for somebody to send you an invite. So if someone does not send you an invite, you can't join the platform. And so it kind of has that exclusivity and also the fact that you do need an iPhone. I don't know if they've opened it up yet, but you do need an Apple device to use the platform. And so I had to wait when I got an invite, got in as quick as possible. So it will reserve your name until you get an invite and then you can join the platform. But once you're in, it's a whole new world. It's extremely different. And also you need to have some certain level of confidence on Clubhouse because you might be talking and somebody will interrupt you and ask you a question on the spot, and you can't start thinking or say, So it's one of those platforms where even before you jump into it, you kind of need to know exactly what you're getting into. And you need to have focus because it's also very addictive. When I first joined, I would be on it for hours and hours and hours. But if you play it right,
But let me
you meet
ask
the right
you,
people.
Fumilayo, Fumi, is social media, how do you pick? I'm going to go back to Clubhouse, but just hearing you, the social media platform a person connects with, does it have to do with a person's personality? Because I don't know, I just can't see myself getting on a place where people are talking, and then I don't know, maybe I'm sounding old school. Maybe I'm sounding old school, but does this have to do with personality? I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying. So, wait, so this is a platform where people basically talk. You don't see each other, you
Yes.
just talk. So, you'll get in, and there are, what are they called? Club rooms or whatever. Different conversations are
Yeah,
going on.
rooms.
So, you decide which
Yeah.
conversation you want to be a part of. So this is like back
Yes.
in the day when there were Yahoo chat rooms. You won't know about Yahoo chat rooms. Okay? So this is literally Yahoo chat rooms, but for voice. So there are different conversations going on, and you can decide which one you want to listen to. Am I correct so far?
Yeah. Yes,
So
you are
when you
correct.
get on and you decide, okay, I want to listen to this particular conversation, or I want to be a part of this particular conversation, do you just listen, or you are also able to contribute? Hello? 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 Hello?
Okay, I can hear you now.
Sorry, what was the last thing you heard me say?
Yahoo chat rooms.
Oh, that was a long time ago. So I said, so when somebody comes in, there's a conversation going on.
Yes.
How do you decide? So you look at the different conversations and decide on which one you want to join or you want to listen to, right?
Yeah, every conversation has a topic, so you will know exactly what they're talking about even before you enter the room. So it could be something like space and aliens, or whatever it is, or starting a business. So once you see the topic, you know whether you want to be a part of that conversation or not.
Can you
Then
hear
you
me?
can join. Yes, I can hear you.
So you get in, you hear what they're talking, and then you decide, I want to learn about this, then you join, isn't it?
Yeah. Sometimes you can even
So
room because you're
go
curious, you don't
on.
understand something, you're even interested in something, but you might just be curious to know what they're talking about in regards to a certain weird topic. So it's very open. No one is going to stop you from entering any room. It's open to everyone.
So give me an example.
For example, there's lots of rooms about even like spirituality or dieting. So whether you should diet, how you should exercise for your body, how you should start a business, how you should organize your Instagram or your social media platforms. So there's literally topics about everything, absolutely everything. Yeah, even there's also rooms where you can learn German, you can learn French. I've seen rooms where you can learn Yoruba and they're always teaching it. So literally
You can
there
learn
is a
Yoruba on
beauty.
Clubhouse.
Yeah.
Why haven't you learned?
I've not spent much time in that room.
Okay. So that's interesting. So you get in, and then how do you now begin to participate? I mean, if there are 500
So
people there, how do you now participate and make your voice heard in the midst of 500 people?
okay, so in every room there's a moderator, and the moderator is the person who normally starts the room. So that moderator is now the person who will decide who the speakers can be. So normally there is hand sign, so you can raise up your hand, and if they bring you up to the stage, you can then unmute your mic to talk when you need to talk or when you've been asked to speak. But it's not that every single person in a room will be on the stage. So there's specific people on the stage. Some rooms, when you're done talking, they'll take you back to the audience so that you don't distract if your mic is unmuted or anything. So you put up your hand, but every room is different. Some rooms, especially when it's really huge rooms or when celebrities are involved, sometimes they might remove the raise hand feature so that everyone is not raising their hand to talk at the same time. But other rooms, you can raise up your hand, they bring you up to the stage to talk, and then you can talk.
And you have experienced that before.
Yeah,
But it takes a lot of confidence to say you want to talk to complete strangers, doesn't it?
it really does, especially in the beginning. It really took me a while. So I started with small rooms. I would enter rooms with like 10, 15 people. Talking there is not as hard. And then I would move up. I think the largest room I ever spoke in was like 600 people. But it takes a lot of confidence. But you'll only be confident if you know what you're going to say. So you need to know what you're saying and not just put your hand up and talk for the sake of talking, but actually because it's a topic you can add value to. So in the conversation, you'll be someone who will add value, not just putting up your hand for no reason.
Wow. So this particular room, you went in. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let me explain to you why I took an interest in this is because next thing, my daughter is telling me, oh, she got a scholarship for something. And I said, where did you get the scholarship from? She said, from Clubhouse. Next thing, she said she's gotten, she's in touch with some millionaire, something in Australia, something in Canada. And I said, where did this come from? And she said, Clubhouse. So naturally, I took an interest and I wanted to know what is going on there. So tell us about your story. I mean, I don't know where you got that confidence from to just speak to strangers. Take us on that your journey for me.
Okay, so when I first joined Clubhouse, I would spend hours on Clubhouse. And sometimes when I would wake up at random times or when I would wake up extra early, after doing my little morning routine, I would get onto Clubhouse and join rooms. Because since it's people all over the world, time zone, so for some people it's evening or it's afternoon. So I got into a room that was for beauty professionals and we started talking. I got some people who followed me from there. And then it was about a couple days later, I then joined an accountability room. So basically, what would happen in that room is you would tell people what you're working towards. And then every week you would go back and have to give an account of how you actually made a way and made an action towards what you're working towards. So I got into that accountability room and I told them about what I do and how my next step was to actually study what I do, which is either aesthetics or a makeup course. So from that room, I then met a lady who is the CEO of an app called the Handsome app. And basically, it's an app for beauty professionals, kind of like an Uber, but for makeup artists, hairdressers, something like that. So she then told me about an organization that does typically what I do, but um, for hair. So she connected me to the CEO of that organization. So before I knew it, I was having a Zoom call with the CEO of that organization. And they are a global organization. And the first big thing that happened for me, apart from, okay, she also connected me with an organization called Beauty Changes Lives, and they offer scholarships for people who are going to use beauty to create some sort of impact, or people who wanted to study anything to do with beauty. So she connected me with that organization, and I did apply as well.
And sorry, which
And
part
then
of the world, baby, which part of the world are these organizations?
um, in the US, Australia, and Canada.
Okay.
So she connected me with the CEO of this company that does, they basically transform lives teaching women from the slums hairdressing. So that's what they do. So when she heard about me, she wanted to actually talk to me and we talked. And the big thing that came out of that was her helping me organize the world to come to Kenya and to help me teach girls makeup in the slum. Obviously, once COVID is, died down and everything, but that was that's for me the biggest highlight of Clubhouse because that means I can actually scale up because I can't keep teaching girls on my own. And I've known that, but I didn't really know which direction to take. But this was now kind of like I can actually have volunteers globally coming to Kenya and we do these masterclasses in different slums all around Kenya and have the same impact. So that's what happened for me on Clubhouse. Another thing that happened, I think, would be
Before you go to the other thing,
first of all, I
my
met
dear,
some
people
people.
are
I connected to also my Instagram.
before you go on. Hello, Fumi.
Yeah.
Before you go on, people are saying, I'm seeing some very interesting comments. When I asked where does the confidence come from, people are giving suggestions. All right, but let me ask, and ladies and gentlemen, this is important because remember, and I think when we were talking, when Fumi was talking to us about Instagram, I remember she said something that you must be helping, use your platform to help others, you know? And I think that is very important because she was not out there trying to promote herself. See, a lot of people are going out, they want to promote themselves just for the sake of I'm promoting myself. but she was out there because of what she was doing with young ladies, transforming lives through beauty. And I want to encourage everybody. What is your cause? I was writing some thoughts down this morning, and I wrote down that purpose is the greatest employer on the face of the earth. Purpose is the greatest employer because when you are employed by purpose, number one, money is not going to be what drives you, but the money will come. When you are employed by purpose, you are not going to be bothered about, oh, I'm working too hard or whatever. No. And so I think a question I'd like everybody to ask themselves is that have you found are you in the employment of purpose? Because purpose is the most powerful employer on the face of the earth. And I love this, that it's not that you are, Fumi was going out there to say, oh, check me out, I'm looking hot, or check me. No, 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 no. It was more of she had an opportunity to push an agenda that was going to change lives. And I think that is very, very awesome. And Fumi, beauty changes lives. Tell us a little bit about that, your initiative, before we move on.
Okay, so basically the initiative, the whole idea and the vision is to change life through beauty. So that means through creating avenues of income for girls from the slums through the beauty industry, they are then able to get jobs, get employed, and eventually leave the slums. So I do master classes for them. And then what happens after the master classes is that gives them skill set that's enough for them to even get small jobs in a beauty shop or a salon, whatever it might be. So the vision is basically to take girls out of the slums through doing what they love, because in many, especially I feel in this side of the world, being a makeup artist is very often seen as a hobby and not something that you can do to sustain yourself and to take care of your family. But the beauty industry, it's $1 billion industry, and if you can tap into it, you'll be surprised what you can get from that industry. So I just want to create a platform for young to actually have access to this huge industry that's open to so many, whether it's through doing nails, makeup, learning all these beauty treatments, skincare. So just creating an avenue for them to actually learn what they love or learn what they see on TV or on shows that they've not been able, that they would love to do, but they've not been able to for whatever reason. And so create a platform for them to do that. And also, I want to connect these young women to people and mentors who can also help them push their agendas in the beauty industry. So that's where um, organizations like the one I was connected to in Australia comes in, because then if a girl is not interested in makeup but she's interested in hair, we are now talking about some sort of collaboration where they can also learn about hair and learn that side of the beauty industry while I take care of makeup with the other volunteers. So yeah, that's what it's basically about, helping girls make their
So,
dreams come true in the beauty industry.
so now you have partners in Dubai, you have partners in Australia, there is the Canada side of things. You have makeup art, beauty people from all over the world who are sending you their products so that you can, endorse those products. Let me ask a question that I did not ask you before, and I'm sure a lot of people will want to learn it. You went to university to study international business administration. At least that is what I paid for. Where and how did you learn this beauty thing? Where did it start from?
This actually started because of you in a way, because when I was 6 or 7 and you went to the UK and I asked you to bring me makeup and you brought me a professional um, makeup kit. And so I would say my love for
I
makeup
brought you
started
a
there.
professional makeup kit and you are 6 or 7.
Yeah.
What's wrong with me?
That's actually where it started. When you got me that kit, and then Grandma Rosetta at the time, she was very into red lipstick. And so I just liked watching her put makeup on, watching mommy put makeup on. And so now over the years, fast forward, I think it was now in year 12, right before I started A levels, and I started doing my eyebrows, and that's where it started. And that's not that long ago because I started doing my eyebrows and then I moved into eyeshadow, and I found that eyeshadow was where I was really doing good. So I continued, then I eventually set up my makeup page. And that's when I realized the value of what I was doing. And there were so many people that wanted to learn from me or wanted me to do their makeup. So that's where it sort of started. It was a progression from when I was young, liking to see people putting their makeup on or anything to do with beauty, skincare. So that's where it started. So this degree, I mean, it's wonderful, but it's definitely not what has gotten me to where I am. It's passion that's gotten me to where I am and the support of the people around me.
Interesting. So, was it trial and error, or did you have tutorials you could watch? How did you develop the skill to the point where, I think what I'm concerned about, or what I really am interested in, how did you develop it to the point where $1 billion organization in Dubai could reach out to you and say, be our face, help push our stuff? Or where a multi-million dollar organization in Australia can say, we want to partner with you? How did you up your game to get to that point?
I would just say it takes a lot of practice. I would practice every single day. Till today, I try to make sure that even if I'm not doing it on myself, I'm watching videos. I didn't have anyone teach me, and I didn't used to use YouTube videos as much. What really helped me was I have this thing where I'm actually able to look at something and recreate it. And even with any new skill that I'm getting in, that's how I learn. So even with piano, the way I learn, I listen to a song, try to play what I'm hearing. So in the same way, I would see a book and try create what I'm seeing. And then I kept on practicing. And once you keep practicing and you're not watching someone do it their way, but you're sort of taking someone's idea and bringing it to life in your own way, new ways of doing things. So that's what has for me, lots and lots of practice and being vulnerable enough to actually put out what I'm practicing on myself. Sometimes I go back to the makeup looks I used to do 2, 3 years ago, and I just laugh because it's so funny. But that just shows me the growth and shows me how I've come. And that practice, the constant practice, you just have to keep on practicing. And I tell everyone, even the girls, when I would teach them in the class, I'll tell them it's not much about what I'm telling you to do or what I'm showing you as working for me, but how willing you are to keep practicing until you achieve exactly what you want to.
Wow. And that's what Malcolm Gladwell calls in this book, The Outliers, 10,000 hours. That when you have done it over and over for 10,000 hours, then you become an expert. You know, I'd like to digress a little bit to all those people who are gossiping about me and making fun of me here, that I bought a professional kit thinking I was buying a toy. You know, well, the God of Fumi was at work, you know. Obviously, the God of Fumi was at work. I had no clue it was a professional kit. She said, Dad, buy me a makeup kit. So I went there. Like, you know, I did not know it was professional. It was a designer kit, by the way. I had no clue, you know. So continue making fun of me. There are all you people making fun of me. So let's go back to Club. Uh, and okay, before I go to Clubhouse, you know, I mean, you've had all these master classes. I've been there. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to go to a Fumi master class. I see all these people come, and I see this young lady in front, speaking, and she has models in front, and she's doing their faces, and she's on camera, and I am so amazed. I am totally awed that it's something I think we must commend you for. And let me tell you another thing we saw is that some of the schools in the slums actually brought their students because you were able to use products that they didn't have access to, isn't it? Hello?
Yes, so that's another thing that happened. Vocational school, I can hear you now. So
Okay.
vocational schools in slum areas then started reaching out to me, and I would go teach in the classrooms, actually in school. And that was now a whole different world, because now these were girls from a combination, both from the slums and from other parts of the city. And I think for me, the most was their teachers in the classroom as well, learning from me, taking notes, taking pictures, was now a whole different.
Wow. And, ladies and gentlemen, isn't this interesting? This is like the other side of what we saw last week. Her last session, she was telling us about how she does house calls for the high and mighty, and they pay premium. But here she is on the other side of the spectrum, transforming lives through beauty, which I think is remarkable. So, through Clubhouse, you've met these partners in Australia who are going to partner with you in the slums. So, the protocol for Clubhouse is be confident, be able to think on your feet. What else would you say?
I would say be very authentic. Do not try to sell something you don't know, and do not try be someone you are not, because you'd be very surprised. People can read through your voice and your tone. And if you're not authentic, and if you're just trying to talk for the sake of talking, people can read through that. So you need to know exactly what you're going to talk about. You need to be clear in the field, and only talk when you know that you've implemented what you're about to talk about, unless you're asking a question. But in Clubhouse, you have to be very humble, first of all, because you might think you're big, and then you're going to meet this person who has been doing it for 50 years, has a net worth of $1 billion, and they're in that same room with you. You don't want to start looking like you're the one who knows when you're something very authentic. And be ready to ask questions. Be willing to learn all the time, no matter how big or small the room is, but be willing to ask questions and to learn from people, because that's how you grow. And the thing about Clubhouse is it has nothing to do with how many followers you have on Twitter, or even on Clubhouse, because there's people on Clubhouse who have even up to 500,000 followers, but you go to their Instagram, they have 2,000 followers, but they are people who are doing things out there. So following does not really matter in Clubhouse. It's more about, because people read your bio, and it's one of those platforms where your bio, what you write about yourself, really, really matters, because that's what people look at to decide whether they actually want to listen to you talking. Sorry. So that's probably the most important thing, just being humble, willing to ask questions. Do not try be who you're not.
And I think those are very powerful life lessons, for everybody. And never try to be who you are not. Never try to. And that's why, if you've listened to me, I am totally against the very concept of fake it till you make it. In a world with so many fakes, the authentic will stand out. The authentic will rule. And I think that is very important. I love what Stella has written. Humble confidence. That's so powerful. Humble confidence is the key to succeeding on Clubhouse. So, Fumi, I'm coming back to you. So, um, take us through how you sold yourself. Staying humble, then you sold yourself, and the Australia partners came on. And now tell us about the scholarship they gave you that another group has given you in Canada, and tell us a little bit about that whole scholarship thing.
Okay, so firstly, how I sold myself. I was just very, very real. I told them how old I was because they sounds like something you need to be older to do. So I told them how I started when I was 19, and that got people very interested because I was very young when I started. So that was the first thing that really got people interested in me. For the scholarship was the same lady, the lady who is the CEO of the app that I told you about. So she was in touch with an organization. So she then connected me to apply. So that's what happened in that area. But I would say, honestly, if you're going to sell yourself on Clubhouse, have your notes. It might seem like, okay, it's just social media, it's another social media platform. But in those early days, especially when I was trying to understand and I wanted to have people connect with me, I would make sure I have my notes exactly. I would write down everything that I would want people to know about me. And then come up with a way to actually communicate that in the quickest way. Um, I'm sure we've all heard of elevator pitches. For a Clubhouse, you must have one. You need to be able to sell yourself in the shortest time possible, because in many rooms, there's so many people that you can't talk forever. You just need to be very, very quick. So I had to learn, I would write it down, I would read it to myself, and almost try and memorize exactly what I want to say, because you have to sell yourself very quick, especially in these rooms where they're, like I said, celebrities or people who are CEOs. They don't have all the time in the world to listen to you talk forever. So comprising, like kind of really summing up your whole story, everything that you want to say in the most emotionally gripping way, but also the most authentic way. And that is what did it for me on Clubhouse. So with the scholarship, with the people that I've met, it was all about how I was able to sell myself in a very gripping way, but also in a very short time. So what I would do is I would almost leave out some details that I know they would want to know. So I would just say, I'll speak for like 30, 40 seconds, and then leave them before they even say time is up. Because I know that by doing that, then they want to ask questions. They want to know, how old are you? Where do you live? Where are you from? Oh, you're not even Kenyan. So I would kind of leave a detail that I know anybody who hears what I do would want to know about me. And then by leaving that and finishing before time is up, then they ask me questions, giving me more time to talk without any time limit.
You know, I wonder where you learn all these things from, but it's fantastic. So this scholarship, it's a really big one in one of the world's best beauty schools. And what is the scholarship all about?
Yes. Basically, I'm going to study aesthetics. So aesthetics is everything to do with skincare, skin procedures, basically anything to do with skin. So whether it's makeup or treating the skin, taking care of the skin the right way. So that's what that's all about. So that's what I'm going to be studying. It's for 6 months that I'm going to be studying that.
So when you go to Canada, and ladies and gentlemen, they gave her a scholarship, very one of the best schools, in the world for that. And all this was on Clubhouse. All this was on Clubhouse. So what I want to hear now in the next few minutes that we have is, what's your daily routine like? You have a lot going on for you. You have a lot going on at a very young age. What do you do? What are you doing behind the scenes that is making all this happen for you outside? Because we don't just want to hear what is happening outside. There must be, for every fruit, there is root. So what is the root of this fruit that we're seeing?
Okay, so first thing is that honestly, I always try to focus on being productive instead of being busy. So many times, even if I look like I'm just relaxing, it's because I know that if there's something that I need to have done, I have either done it or I have a plan to do it. So I always focus on being productive. I never like to feel like I'm so busy. I hate that feeling of pressure, like I need to get this done now. So focusing on that, and then also I do a lot of speaking. I do a lot of like speaking where I want to be. I do a lot of journaling. I do a gratitude journal. I do a reflection journal. What the gratitude journal does for me is that it just reminds me every morning, what can you be grateful for? Despite what you have or don't have, what can you be grateful for about right now in this moment? And that's what helps me have a positive start to most of my days, because no matter how I feel or no matter my mood, once you realize that there's something you have that people are praying for, it really changes your perspective. And it's kind of like a wake up call that, hey, stop being so gloomy and just, you have a lot to be smiling about right now. So that's one of the most important things I do. I always write what I'm grateful for every morning. Every evening, two things. So every day, I like to spend like an hour or an hour and a half just speaking or writing where I want to be. So basically, what I would do is I record myself speaking all these things. So whether it is I want to be the highest paid makeup artist in the world, something like that, I record myself saying all these things for about 30 minutes, and then I say it to myself and I'm listening to myself say it. And so I am constantly speaking where I want to be. It does not matter what happens in the moment, but I'm always speaking where I want to be. Another thing is I'm always writing where I want to be. The thing about writing is as you write it, you're kind of saying it in your head as you write it. And I realized that I really liked that you're writing it, you can go back and read it, and you're also sort of seeing it in your mind as you write it. So I also do a lot of that. And then every day in the evening, I do a reflection journal. So I write how my day was. I write what could have gone better, what I didn't like about my day, and what I can do to make my next day better than the last day. So by doing that, I'm always on top of, number one, I always like to be in control of my emotions. And I realize that a lot of the times something can happen in the course of the day, and it's very easy to want to dwell on that thing that has happened, especially if it's a bad thing. So I just try to always remind myself the goal where I want to be. And then once you kind of do that, no matter what happens in your day, you know that you have a goal and you're heading somewhere, and being negative or being sad about these little things that happen, it's going to derail you and take your mind off of the real thing you should be focusing on. So I just try to stay very focused. I try to be very positive. I try to do things that make me happy as often as possible, because honestly, my mood, I think, can affect me if I don't take charge of it. So just waking up every morning, and it might sound silly, but deciding every morning that I'm in a good mood today. And once you tell yourself I'm in a good mood today, no matter what happens, you are in control. You have decided the course you're staying on for that day.
So even when your brothers are harassing you, you have already set yourself that I'm in a good mood today.
so nothing is going to take me down.
Uh, wow. So we're about to wrap up. Now, I'm sure coronavirus really, affected what you were doing in the slums and all that. What's the way forward?
Okay, so two things. First of all, I'm going to take it away from just the physical aspect. So one thing I'm trying to work on now is actually putting together a small curriculum that can be accessible with as little data as possible on phones, no matter what kind of smartphone it is, and then create a system where girls can get kits and then they can have access to this course and actually still be learning when they're away from me. If there's one thing that I really stand by, it's a Bible verse in Psalm 91, that 1,000 shall fall at my side, 10,000 at my right hand, but these evils will not touch me. And so the way I take that verse is that despite the fact that there's a pandemic, despite the fact that businesses or people in my industry might be going through it at this moment in time, these evils can't touch me. So I just stay focused. I know that at the end of the day, the goal is we need to get girls out of the slums, we need to get girls doing what they love. So I'm working on a course and putting a curriculum together. I also want to create a system and a site where people can share stories of different girls and then support them directly through that platform. So that even if there's no class going on, there's girls that are really going through some very crazy stuff in the slums. So just creating a place where they can also be supported, or if someone can mentor them or would like to mentor them, just creating a community of support for these young women. So those are the things that I'm currently working on, just creating that support platform for them. Yeah.
So somebody listening to you now and saying, you know what? I mean, the comments are phenomenal. Um, we're learning a lot. Even your mom and I remember I was out of town when your mom called me and told me about how you taught her about, the gratitude journal and, and all those things, speaking, recording herself and then listening to it. And one of the things I've seen is that the dedication you have given to that, because guys, no matter what is happening, when it is 6 p.m., if her father did not bring her on this place now, she would have been out, and she would do it for 1.5 hours, and it is yielding fruit. And that's why I wanted to just, you to share with us the habits, and what you have done. So can you share your details with us? Maybe somebody would like to support your beauty, transforming lives through beauty initiative. Um, can you share, or maybe your brother can share your details, where to get you on Instagram, on your email address, whatever details, so that people can. Ladies and gentlemen, here's an opportunity. If we want to support, I think this is a good one to support. Like I said, I have sat in master classes. Taiwo and I have sat there. We are wild. I have a friend in Mombasa who is a very, very, very successful, wealthy businesswoman. And she came with us and she was totally, totally shocked, blown away. So even as we have we thank God for what He's doing, opening doors for you to do house calls for high society. But how do we reach you to support this transforming lives through beauty? So Ofumi Beauty, that's your Instagram, right?
Yes, that's my Instagram. So my Instagram is ofumibeauty and my email account is ofumibeauty@gmail.com.
Okay, Tom, maybe we can put that on the screen. ofumibeauty@gmail.com. ofumibeauty@gmail.com. Let's put that on the screen so that everybody can see that and we can reach out to show support to the Transforming Lives Through Beauty. Ofumibeauty at Gmail. Thank you. Ofumibeauty at gmail.com. So we would love to absolutely. I mean, if I didn't know you and I was meeting you for the first time, I would definitely want to support your Transforming Lives Through Beauty. And I know I speak for everybody on this platform when I say we thank God for what you are doing, for what you have accomplished at a very young age. We thank God because we know that things will only get better and better. And we will keep calling you to come and inspire us because this has truly been an inspiration. And the exciting thing, ladies and gentlemen, this is a pandemic stream. All this did not exist, okay, well, she had been doing some of this thing, but the whole social media side of things was all after the pandemic. And that is where things really blew up, on social media. I do hope you have enjoyed and learned something from this today. You've seen Tom and Kalpa, my son and daughter, and you see that they started their YouTube channel. That was a pandemic stream. My other son, Ola, will refuse. He just doesn't want anything camera. I have tried to get him here. Maybe some of you who know him can encourage him. His pandemic stream has been phenomenal. He has a studio. And during the pandemic, he began to create beats, create all sorts of things, and people began to buy his beats. And I saw this, people, even as recently as this morning, where people will record, with a voice note, record their song and send to him on WhatsApp. And in his studio, he's able to create music. He's producing for some of the biggest artists in the country right now. And it's all a pandemic stream from his little studio in the house, in his room, So, ladies and gentlemen, the truth is we don't have an excuse. We don't have an excuse. The Bible says, when they say there is a casting down, we shall say there is a lifting up, but we need to do something. Don't let's throw in the towel. Don't let's raise up our hands in despair. During this pandemic, there are great things you can do that have always been in you. It's just time for them to come out. And that's why we have pandemic streams. On Thursday, I'm going to host somebody who started a whole media house during the pandemic. And 2 days ago, he was showing me that he got International Press Association accreditation. And this is something that this time last year did not exist. So you don't want to miss it on Thursday. You are going to see a lot of, you're going to be inspired by that. And yes, Clubhouse at the moment is on iPhones, but I saw something from Stella there that they are going to go open up for Android in May. So let's see what happens there. So once again, thank you very much, everybody, for being here. And our desire is to add to you and to inspire you and give you something that can take you to the next level. And I sure hope we're doing a good job at that. For those of you who will be joining us later on Wale Akinyemi resource page at 9 p.m., we shall be having another session there where we continue to talk about the mindset and our thinking. So thank you very much indeed. We are very, very grateful that you took the time to be here. God bless you and keep winning.